What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm talking about the top sneaker releases at ComplexCon 2018. The very first ComplexCon was held last year in 2017 and it quickly established itself as one of the premier cons, I guess, for sneakers and hype. I honestly didn't know what to expect last year, so I didn't want to drop the money on an event that I wasn't sure if it was going to be worth going to because, like you guys know, I'm on the other side of the country. And after I saw all the things that were actually released at the event, I really started to regret it because there was a lot of sneakers that I wish I had been able to cop. So ever since then, I've been planning out my trip to ComplexCon this year because I just don't want to be left out. As with a lot of conventions, ComplexCon has made some releases public just to kind of build up the hype for the event, but they're also probably keeping something secret so when people actually show up, they can be surprised by some pretty insane releases. And to be completely honest, I'm not blown away by the releases that have already been made public. There's some stuff I'm interested in, but nothing yet that really makes me have to be there, you know? So I'm really hoping that there are some surprise releases that I'm actually able to cop that kind of make this entire trip worth it. I know that sounds terrible, and honestly I'm going for the actual experience. I'm going to hang out with friends, like there's a lot of sneaker YouTubers that are going, so obviously the trip itself will be a lot of fun, but I'm hoping ComplexCon is worth the price of admission. But with that being said, and kind of getting that pessimistic attitude out of the way, there are some pretty great shoes that are releasing that if I get the chance to buy, I'll be happy with. So, because ComplexCon is quickly approaching, I figured now would be a great time to talk about the top sneakers releasing at ComplexCon 2018. These are the top confirmed sneaker releases that are actually going down. I've heard rumors about other shoes may be releasing, like the Union Air Jordan 1s, but I'm just gonna nip that one in the bud right now. I'm almost 100% sure they're not actually going to be releasing at ComplexCon. Yes, Union will have a booth at ComplexCon, and yes, they will be selling some of their other collabs at the event, but because of the way that Jordan Brand likes to roll out certain sneakers, I just don't think it's gonna be happening there. Not only that, I don't think Jordan Brand is really gonna have any sort of presence at ComplexCon, so I would be really surprised to see Union Brand selling their collab with Jordan Brand there. They might, and honestly probably will, have them on display, and you never know, they could maybe go on sale in super limited numbers, but I just really doubt it. Also, if you're wondering my opinion on the Union Air Jordan 1s, I think they're fire. However, I definitely think they look a lot like Off-White Air Jordan 1s. So I get where people are coming from with that, but that doesn't change my opinion on them. I still think they're a great looking sneaker. So jumping into the top actually confirmed releases, and while we're at it, let me move my stool over a little bit so there's room for the images right there. We've got the Asics Atmos Soulbox Gel Lyte 3s. I've never really been a huge Asics fan. That doesn't mean that I don't like the shoes. There's just never been one that I really felt like I needed to grab. That's also true for me with this pair, which is a Gel Lyte 3 covered in sort of a tiger camo print. Don't get me wrong, it's a dope looking sneaker, and I think it's awesome that Asics is collabing with Atmos and Soulbox. I think that's a dope collab combination, but it's not something I'm really gonna go out of my way to grab. I do have to say though, this is one of the cleaner Gel Lyte 3s that I've ever seen, and I think it's probably gonna move pretty quickly. Whether it actually sells out, I'm not sure. I definitely think it's one of the less hyped items at the event, so it probably won't move as quickly as some other items that I'm sure you guys already know. But I do think it will probably sell pretty well. Next up, we've got an extremely limited pair of sneakers, limited to only 504 pairs, and that shoe is the Atmos Asics Gel Insta 360. This is actually a very interesting metallic silver sneaker. It reminds me a lot of the original Micro Pacer. In fact, they remind me a lot of the Never Made collection Micro Pacer that just dropped. It's got a metallic silver upper with red and blue accents throughout. It definitely has a retro vibe, which I dig, and I think it's a really cool looking sneaker. Again, not a shoe that I'm really planning to pick up, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm trying to be picky about what I actually buy because I'm not planning to bring like any checked luggage. I have to put it all in my carry-on, so gonna have to be careful about that. But realistically, I think it's a smart move that Asics is making this a super limited sneaker because it's gonna really drive up that hype, and that's something that really seems to sell well at events like ComplexCon and I guess just in the world in general. So I don't think it'll be that hard of a sneaker to cop at the event, but I definitely think it's gonna be something that a lot of Asics fans will be going for. Side note, sort of honorable mention that's not really in the list itself, but Adidas is actually releasing the entire Dragon Ball Z collection at ComplexCon. I actually think it's one of those releases where you have them shipped to your house and you don't have to carry them back, so maybe that's something that I would consider picking up because I know you guys, for whatever reason, love Dragon Ball Z and want to see those reviews, and I could care less, honestly, but hey, you know, maybe it's something I'll go for. I know they're also doing some individual restocks of the Frieza Young Ones and the Gokus, I think. So if you missed out on either of those as well, you have another chance to grab them. But none of these are really new sneakers, and they're absolutely not ComplexCon exclusive, so they didn't make the list. Moving into Adidas, we've got a shoe from the guy who stopped Drake's collab with Adidas, the Pusha T EQT Cushion 2s. This shoe's alright. I'm sure there are people who really like the way it looks. I kind of think it looks a little bit ugly. Not something I really want to grab other than just maybe to review it and then get rid of it, but not something that I would wear. Looking at it now, it actually kind of reminds me of a Prefer upper on an EQT outsole, and that's kind of a weird look. I don't know if that was on purpose. I don't know if one shoe inspired the other or what the deal was, but not really my thing. It's kind of got like a tan and gray upper with a black accent down the side of the midfoot, or maybe that's gold. I'm not sure exactly what color that is, but it's definitely a more subtle looking sneaker. I've never tried a pair of EQT cushions or EQT cushion 2s. I didn't even really know that was a model, so I'd be interested to know how cushioned the shoe actually is, and if it is pretty comfortable. I have no idea. That's the one thing I'm kind of interested in about this shoe. But other than that, man, like I'm content letting this one go. Next shoe up is a sneaker that we all saw coming from a mile away. I think it's the first shoe that people really knew that was confirmed for Complex Con. The blue and red Nerd Pharrell Human Race NMDs. Last year we saw the first release of the Complex Con exclusive triple black Nerds. Since then we've had like 4 different colorways, and I believe this either is the 4th or maybe it's the 5th. Needless to say, it's not a bad looking sneaker. I don't mind the red and blue combination. It kind of reminds me of police lights, but it is what it is. You've got the NERD text running down the center of each sneaker, which is different than what they did last year. And I mean, overall, this might be one of the last Pharrell NMD releases to really have that sort of hyped up resale price. This shoe absolutely will be very, very limited and very hard to get. Of course, it's something I'm gonna go for. I don't know if I'd keep it if I got it. I might flip it and just pay rent, because I feel like that's more important than owning another $1,200 pair of shoes, but you know, it's a great looking sneaker, I guess. But I guess as far as Pharrell NMD colorways go, it's definitely not the best, but it's absolutely not the worst. And rounding off the sneakers that we know Adidas is dropping at Complex Con, we've got the Pharrell Human Race PODs. When I first saw this sneaker, I thought it was a boost you wear. Like, it really has that sort of boost you wear look because it's got that sort of high ankle area. This is like the first Pharrell that I've been super excited about in a very long time. And not because it's a new Pharrell, it's because of the fact that it's a new version of the POD exclusive to Pharrell. Adidas brought me out to the POD launch event in London this year, which was like one of the most awesome experiences ever. And the POD was absolutely one of the more promising releases from Adidas in a while. Unfortunately, I don't think the shoe has caught on the way that I think Adidas was hoping that it would, but I think this fresh take on the POD is just so interesting and so different, and I love the fact that they paired it with Pharrell to give it that sort of hype factor. Everything about it is just so intriguing. It's definitely not the most attractive sneaker Adidas has ever released, but I love the fact that it's different and they're taking some risks with it. I think that's a really cool choice. I'm gonna be honest, the colorway that they're dropping in this black and white is a little bit dull and a little bit boring. It's not exactly what I'm hoping for from a Pharrell sneaker, because obviously we all know Pharrell drops like crazy colored sneakers, so I think this would have been the perfect opportunity to kind of play on a new silhouette. So that's really the only thing I'm not a huge fan of about this sneaker, but otherwise, it's definitely the shoe that I'm going for, probably the most at Complex Con. I don't think the price has been announced yet for that sneaker, but I'm assuming it's probably going to be pretty expensive, like $200, $250. So we'll see what happens. I also wouldn't be surprised if it gets a wider release down the road, just nothing's confirmed yet. And finally, wrapping up the Complex Con releases with the shoe that I am beyond stoked for, the Diamond Supply SB Dunks. The Tiffany Dunks need no introduction. They're a grail for a lot of people and always have been. And because of the fact that the popularity of the Dunks kind of died out, you can find a pair of Tiffany Dunks for like pretty good prices, which makes me think I should probably try and pick up a pair before they get too crazy in price again. We'll see. But this new iteration of the sneaker not only expands on the illustrious history of the Diamond Supply Co. Nike SB collab, but it actually makes it in some ways better and more interesting. Obviously, I don't think this colorway is as good as the original Diamond Supply Tiffany colorway. There are 2 colorways of the sneaker releasing early at Complex Con. You've got a black pair and a white pair. There's also an all yellow pair that's only dropping exclusively to friends and family, so there's pretty much no chance of you getting that pair. But my favorite detail about these sneakers, and I think that's probably true for everyone who wants this pair of shoes, is that the Nike swoosh is actually velcroed onto the side of the sneaker, and when you pull it off, there's a little Tiffany hit underneath it. It's such a dope look, and I love how you can kind of play with the placement of the Nike swoosh and sort of expose that Tiffany hit in different ways. I think it's awesome. Obviously, I still think the original Tiffany colorway is probably better than these 2 colorways because it's such a beautiful color combination, the color blocking is incredible, and it's a classic. You can't really beat it. But I love the fact that with this collab, they weren't trying to repeat the same exact design and just retro the same shoe, but rather they're doing something different and experimenting with something new, which I think is so cool. Will I be able to get a pair? I don't know, we'll see what happens. Again, I think the Dunk hype has sort of died down a little bit, so maybe the resale prices won't be too crazy and it might not be impossible to get a pair, but you never know. There might be a lot of Dunk heads out there who are only at Complex Con for that pair of sneakers. Crazier things have happened. But guys, those are pretty much all the sneaker releases that we know about as of right now for Complex 2018. I gave you guys my thoughts on the sneakers that are releasing. Now I would like to know your thoughts on what's releasing and if you are going, and also which pairs you're trying to grab. I'll be walking around Complex Con both days, so if you're in the area, make sure to stop by and say what's up. It's always great to meet you guys, and I hope to see you there. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one. And hopefully at Complex Con.